Okay, Nick, let's go ahead and get started.
All right. Let me turn off that phone. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for attending in your multiple formats to our live how federal employees represent a relatively untapped and quite substantial opportunity to grow our businesses. So with that, Sean, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you happen to be. My name is Kayshawn McCoy. I'm the National Business Development Director and owner of Federal Employee Benefits Advocates. We are an educational company. We're based out of Shreveport, Louisiana. A little background on myself before we get into the presentation. I've been in and around the financial services industry. I'm working on my soon-to-be 36th year in May. I've been working now with federal employees for the last 13 years. This is all that I do exclusively is do federal employee benefit briefings, and I train financial advisors so that they can be competent and capable to work with federal employees. During that period of time, I've probably delivered in excess of 1,300 seminars and have spoken to in excess of 33,000 federal employees. So you're here today because you're looking for a new pond to fish in, a new niche market. And I read something the other day. I can't remember who it was, but I'll relate it if I can remember it. But it said niches lead to riches. And if you think about that, everyone that I've known throughout my career in the financial services industry has had some type of niche market so that they can have a consistent, repeatable, and sustainable process of prospects. So the federal market is a large and untapped market. So you're looking for an opportunity in a niche market where you can work, expand, and grow your practice and continue to do that for pretty much the rest of your career, and if you have a legacy program, for the rest of their careers as well. So why do you want to work with federal employees? Well, first off, there's a lot of them. 2.7 million federal employees, making it the largest employer in the United States. And the workforce is aging. Nearly 39% of all the workforce is age 50 years or older. And they have compared to about 24% in the private sector. The average age for federal employees is about 47 years with 16.3 years of service. And beginning about 5 years ago, 1 out of every 3 federal employees is eligible to retire. So that's a huge number of potential folks that you have an ability to work with. From a pay perspective, the federal workforce is competitively paid. That's one of the nuances I found is people think feds are not well paid. Well, they have to because they have to compete with the private sector. Otherwise, they lose the possibility of losing that candidate. And then the location of federal employees, 85% of all federal employees are located outside of the D.C. area, with the top 10 states being California, Texas, Virginia, Maryland, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Illinois, and Ohio. So there are basically 3 areas that you can provide assistance to federal employees. So what I tell people is when you work with federal employees, you've got to be prepared to look at the different opportunities that you have to provide assistance to them. So if you work only with asset management, there may be opportunities for you to help them with the TSP allocations and then the new mutual fund allocation, or if you work on the protection side, there are several protection opportunities. So let's move from our left to our right. And the first thing we're going to talk about is a pension income alternative. The federal employees have a very lucrative defined benefit plan. However, like most DB plans, they have to make a decision about whether to share benefits with their spouse. And in doing so, if it's suitable and the individuals can qualify for the insurance, you may be able to replace one of the pension choices by using life insurance as a solution. FERS, which are the Federal Employee Retirement System, the new employees hired after 1984, if they have less than 10 years of service, they don't have a pension, and most of them aren't aware of that. So that presents a risk management option to protect their family in the event of premature death or replacing income. Also, if there is no pension left for the survivors and there is no minor or there are no minor children in the household, then they lose their health insurance coverage. They have to go on the federal government's equivalent of COBRA, which is called temporary continuation of coverage. Thrift Savings Plan is the largest defined contribution program in the world, with north of $900 billion, rapidly approaching $1 trillion. These are limited sets managed accounts that they have in their base program, which is 5. They have recently added a mutual fund option that will give them up to 5,000 different choices. The challenge is they know very little about it, and they've gotten very little training. So that provides you the ability to assist them in finding suitable allocations while they're in the accumulation phase, and then also finding those suitable distribution choices when they get ready to retire. The voluntary contribution plan is more limited because it's only available to CSRS and CSRS offsets. That's the Civil Service Retirement System. That's the one that has been around since 1920. Now, that system closed out its last participant in 1983, December 31st. So there's only about 2 or 3% of the population that remains, somewhere in the neighborhood of around 25,000 people or less. But this unique plan, because of a change in the tax law in 2008, allows a CSRS or CSRS offset employee to put up to 10% of everything that they've earned over their entire career and be able to take that out and put it into a Roth with 10% of their after-tax income. And so it presents a unique opportunity for them to have the ability to take non-qualified money and put it into a Roth because of the change in that tax law. The other 3 areas of assistance come in the form of risk management. That's the Federal Employee Group Life Insurance Program, which is, again, the largest life insurance program in the world with over 4 million of active retired employees. They can get up to 7 times their coverage. However, when they start getting into, they lose one of those coverages, one multiple of those coverages when they reach 45. But when they start getting into their 50s, it begins to get very, very expensive in order to provide that coverage for them. So it gives you a chance to provide the life insurance coverage while they're younger, maybe at a lesser rate, and over their lifetime save them tremendous amounts of dollars. Disability, with their disability program, the first year they get 60% offset by 100% of anything they receive from Social Security. And then in the second year, they get 40% of their high 3 offset by 60% of Social Security. So most people cannot live off of 40% of their taxable income, and the vast majority of federal employees have no idea how their disability coverage works until it's too late. So that would represent potentially a standalone disability policy, maybe some type of short-term benefit policy that some of the carriers provide, or a life insurance policy that combines with living benefits with the life insurance and disability. The final area is an area that everyone should be concerned about, and that's the area of long-term care. The federal government previously had opened a disability program using John Hancock. They came up for the renewal period this year, and they made the strategic decision to let the business mature, and so now they have discontinued that until 2025. So that would, again, represent a long-term care sale or a product, or potentially a life insurance product with a living benefit rider associated with it. At this point, there's probably 2 questions that you should be asking yourself. 1, what's the best way to find new prospects and turn them into clients? And 2, how can I get the professional knowledge that I'll need to work with the feds? Well, that's where federal employee benefits advocates come into play. We have our FedEd Advisor Training Academy that will give you the knowledge, tools, and support that you need to work with federal employees. And we make our federal employee benefit seminars available to be licensed for you to help you educate and build relationships with federal employees. Let's talk briefly about the FedEd Advisor Academy. The FedEd Advisor Academy is set up in a format currently that we're doing, which is the virtual format. We do 3 4.5-hour sessions. They typically will start at 10 o'clock Eastern, which would make that 6 o'clock on the West Coast. If we have a number of people from the West Coast, we'll adjust the time back so we start about 7 o'clock. But it starts with an all-important study guide. The study guide is what gives you the basic knowledge that you'll need when we go into the classroom program. So you'll get that approximately 2 weeks before the program starts. And it's very, very important that you go through that, because that is your precursory work prior to coming to the class, so you don't come in completely cold. And I can tell you, anyone that's come in through this class, they'll tell you it is of information. Then you'll be provided a classroom workbook. And the classroom workbook will have a copy of all the slides that we'll go over, as well as various exercises to do what we call drill for skill, so that you'll have the ability to understand the basic mechanics of how their calculations work. And then we'll talk in just a moment about some of the software that we'll provide to you. Now, really our defining part of our program that differentiates us from anyone out there is our marketing program, because what we do is we teach you how to identify federal employees in your geographic location so you know what the population is. We'll teach you how to locate these individuals either at their place of work or in some cases at their home location, as well as identify very important points of contact for setting up potential seminars. And then we provide you with some basic communication material that you can use to initiate that. So those all will come to you, all three books will come to you at one time. Now, we also have some postcard material that's available. We can do some pre-printed pieces for you if you want to label them and put the stamps on. Or we have full service. If that's something we have an interest or you have an interest in, then we can set that up with the printer to get a quote on what that would cost in order to do that. Now, the software program that we use is from a company called Retire Ready Solutions. They're out of Dallas, Oregon. Some of you may be familiar with this software. It's an outstanding software program that allows you not only to perform a comprehensive report on federal employees, but also to be able to do reports on various state defined benefit plans. So if you live in Georgia, California, Nevada, it doesn't really matter. They've got all the state DB plans in this software, and it also comes with an outstanding pension maximization illustration program, probably one of the best I've seen in my career. We'll also give you a digital resource zip drive, and that zip drive has about 85 different forms and pamphlets that are designed to enhance your knowledge, to give you a deeper view. If we went through all of the information, pardon me for 1 second. If we went through all the information provided in the class, it would be about 2 weeks long, and everybody be ready to put their eye out with a fork when it's all over with. But this is really to help with your heavy lifting and give you additional resource information to lessen your learning curve so you don't have to go out and find these documents yourself. After the class is concluded, we will provide you with a chance to take an exam. This is 100 questions. You must score a 75 in order to pass. If you are a certified financial planner, CFP professional, we will also provide you with 12 hours of CFP credits upon the completion of an exam that would be proctored at your location to substantiate that it was done independently. So we get the classroom workbook, the pre-study guide, the marketing workbook, the software from Retire Ready Solutions or Retire Ready Solutions, and then also the exam and the digital resource guide. And of course, if you are a CFP professional and you complete the program within 2 weeks of the class, then we will give you 12 hours of CFP credits. So what we're going to do for just a moment, and by the way, our class is coming up May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Again, it's going to run essentially 8 a.m. That's incorrect. It's not a.m. to 4 p.m. It's actually 8 a.m. Mountain Time to 12:30. So registration ends on the 21st. So what I'm going to do now is I'll go ahead and unmute everyone. So if you have a question, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question, and then we'll get those questions answered. Okay, so we did not get any questions, so we're going to go ahead and move on. The next part we're going to talk about is our Federal Employee Benefits Advocate Seminar programs. These are designed to help you to be able to educate federal employees and to build relationships with them. Seminars are an excellent way to reach out to a large number of federal employees, typically at the location of their work with the approval of their employer. You see, there is a federal statute that requires federal employees to be trained at the early, the mid, and the late career points. The unfortunate thing is most federal agencies don't have the ability to deliver it, and if they do, typically it's done by an on-demand, and it's not well received by the employee personnel. So these are complete seminar programs. We have full day and half day federal employee retirement system briefings. We also have an option that will allow you to choose certain independent modules that you can present. We also carry a full and half day financial literacy briefing that can be used in conjunction to give additional information to the participants about topics that are not part of their federal benefits. And then we have a specialty program on divorce and its effect on federal employees if you want to essentially pursue a niche within a niche, or you might have a attorney relationship, or you might even be involved in that particular marketplace in divorce. So the full day program and half day, we have an in-person version. The licensing fee on that is $17.50. That's for a single licensed user only. If you have someone else in your office that'll be participating in any way, shape, or form in the presentation or the commissions, we'll give you a site license. There's an additional charge for that, and it renews at $500. We have a modularized in-person version that includes 3 one-hour modules, which would include the pension, the TSP, and the FEGLI. That way, if you choose to go in and you want to do a lunch and learn program, you would have the material. You'll have the workbooks to give out to the participants in the program. We have a different set of programs that we make available for virtual, because with the virtual, what happens is you don't give them a copy of the slides. What we effectively give them is a handout guide, and we do have some ability on the handout guide to do some private labeling. Again, we can work with your compliance department to get any of these materials approved. I have a 100% success ratio working with this federal program to get it approved by broker dealers. And part of the reason is I'm a former 7, 63, 65, and 24. I also worked for a compliance department and a broker dealer. So I tend to know what the rules are. And yes, everybody's program is different. That's what they all say. We also have, if you just want a quick 1-hour version of what we call the Hour of Power. This gives you the FERS pension, the TSP, and FEGLI. It's a great, quick introductory program that you can get started on very quickly by putting together your contacts, inviting them to this 1-hour session. Now, all of these sessions are done by you. Now, you can also hire us if you choose to present, but we're a bait tackle store with a guide service. What does that mean? That means we are not in the business of setting up seminars. We're not in the business of selling you leads. We're in the business of teaching you how to fish so that you can take care of yourself and you'll have the tools and techniques in order to do that. This is just an example of the type of the handout guide. It's a PDF file that goes out with the when you license the material. The divorce program and the financial literacy. Again, the financial literacy could be delivered to anyone. It is done in a generic fashion. I think there's only one place that we actually mention federal benefits. And so this great to your briefing. The vast majority of the time when I do a briefing, I do a full day for the first day and then a financial literacy for a half day. And it's very well received because it goes over topics such as financial planning basics, risk management, retirement programs, and estate planning. This is one that's oftentimes attended by the spouse of the federal employees. And then our specialty program is divorce and its effect on federal employees. We have a 2-hour and a 4-hour version, and that's something that we've created based on demand from federal agencies and from individuals who want to work, if you will, a niche within a niche. So these are our programs, the FedEd Advisor Program, which gives you the knowledge, tools, and support that you need to work with federal employees. And then we get the Federal Employee Benefits Advocate Seminar programs to help you build and educate and build relationships with federal employees. And then our specialty programs, again, the financial literacy, the TSP, and the FEGLI. This is one that's oftentimes attended by the spouse of the federal employees. And then we have a 2-hour and a 4-hour version, and that's something that we've created based on demand from federal agencies and from individuals who want to work, if you will, a niche within a niche. So these are our programs, the FedEd Advisor Program, which gives you the knowledge, tools, and support that you need to work with federal employees. And then we get the Federal Employee Benefits Advocate Seminar Program Again, the FedEd Academy will be held on May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And again, the time here is incorrect. I apologize for that. It typically will run from 8 o'clock Mountain Time until 12:30. So you can do the math depending on your zone. And then the cost of this program is $1,950. So again, comprehensive programs to financial advisors. We give you the knowledge and tools and support that you need to work with federal employees. If you have additional information, you can check out our FedEd Academy website or FEB Advocates, or you can dial me directly at 720-432-3331, or you can email your questions to Sean at febadvocates.com. So then I'm going to flip it back over to you for final comments, and then we're going to close out.
Thanks, Sean. We appreciate your time, and we hope this was valuable to everybody. And with that, I think we can conclude. We hope you all have a good day, and if you have any questions, we'd love to engage you.
All right, thanks everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.